Hello and welcome students to the latest edition of Tube Lessons. Today's lesson will be regarding the proper usage of I, me, my, mine and myself. Frankly speaking, these are pronouns that we use every day. However, when we become conscious about using them, or when we have to use them in writing, or when the scenario is a bit formal, that is when we become very conscious and a bit circumspect regarding how to use them and where to use them. And this lesson of ours, this will aim at removing all the confusions that may arise regarding the usage of I, me, my, mine and myself. Now the first thing is I. We must remember I is always used as a subject. I is always used as a subject. And let us take this example of this sentence. We can take any sentence actually. I am responsible for all that has happened. I did the job myself. I am the one to be held responsible. See, in all these sentences, I is the subject. And as a result, I almost always is used at the beginning of a sentence. Now, let us see how me is used. Me is used as an object. That is, me is always at the receiving end of some action. Me, when you are at the receiving end of some action, say for example, I must correct this thing. They wanted to meet me. See, here me is at the receiving end of the action wanted. They wanted to meet me. So me is at the receiving end of the action, and me as a result is used as an object. Let us move on to the next segment. Now, we get confused when multiple subjects or objects are used. Say for example, we went to a picnic and I was accompanied by my family. Now we get confused regarding how am I going to say this sentence. Shall I say I and my family went to the picnic, or my family and I went to the picnic? Because here the subject is both my family and I. So how am I going to use it? Now regarding multiple subjects or objects, we must remember that I, this I should always means the other person's name, which over here I have chosen this sentence, Susan and I went to the meeting. The other person's name, it should come first and I should follow it. So I should always come after the other person's name. So it should not be I and my family went to the picnic. No, my family and I went for a picnic. Similarly, the headmaster wanted to meet Susan and me. Me should follow the other person's name. So this should be the correct construction. Let us move on to the next segment, which deals with the proper usage of mine. Now, my and mine, this is where serious confusion arises. Where to use my and where to use mine. Now, the romantic ones amongst ourselves are often accustomed to using such sentences like you are my girlfriend, and you are my life. Now, that is when the mistake arises. Like when you say you are my girlfriend, it is okay. But when you say you are mine, you have committed a mistake. Because you cannot say you are mine. You have to say you are mine. So we have to remember that my is always used before a noun. My is used before a noun, whereas mine is generally used at the end of a sentence. Mine is generally used at the end of a sentence. Now we cannot say that you are mine girlfriend. What we shall say is you are mine, and we should stop there. Like you are my friend. It's okay. See, my, we are using my before the noun friend. So you are my friend. This is the correct use. You cannot say you are mine friend. No, you cannot say that. So what shall we say? Let us see. You are a friend of mine. That should be the proper construction. You are a friend of mine. Either you say you are my friend, or you say you are a friend of mine. See over here, we have already said that mine is generally used at the end of a sentence, but that is not always the case. For example, this sentence, Susan's house is red while mine is green. Now, here we are using mine in place of my house. So either we say Susan's house is red while my house is green, or we say Susan's house is red while mine is green. Now let us move on to the next sentence, which will deal with the proper usage of myself. Now, myself is a pronoun that can be used both as reflexive and emphatic. Now, what is reflexive and what is emphatic? Now, reflexive pronoun is a pronoun where the subject does something, the effect of the action comes back on the doer himself. That is when we say that the pronoun is reflexive. For example, I wish I could kill myself. Now here, I could kill myself. The action is coming back on the doer himself. I wish to kill myself. This is an example of a reflexive pronoun. So in this case, myself, I wish I could kill myself. This is a reflexive pronoun which refers to an action which reflects back on the doer. And that is why this is a reflexive pronoun, myself. Whereas in the next sentence, I myself saw to it that the job was done. Now here we use myself to put more emphasis, to sound emphatic on what I am saying. I am making a claim and I want to put emphasis on what I am saying. That's why I am using this pronoun myself. I myself saw to it that the job was done. See, if I had even said that I saw to it that the job was done, the meaning would have been almost the same. But I wanted to put stress on what I am saying. That's why I say I myself saw to it that the job was done. So these are the two different usages of myself. One is reflexive and the other is emphatic. One, when we try to when we try to describe some action where the action reflects back on the doer himself, that is called the reflexive pronoun, myself. And the other case is of emphatic pronoun, when we try to put stress or put emphasis on what I am saying. And this brings us to the last part of today's lesson of ours, which is by myself. Now this phrase by myself, this means alone. When you do something all by yourself. Alone. When you do something all by yourself. Say, for example, I completed the homework all by myself. That means without anybody's help. That's when we use this phrase by myself. So by myself means when I do something completely on my own. I went to the movie by myself. That means I went to the movie alone. Now, with this we come to the end of our lesson on the proper usage of I, me, my, mine, myself and by myself. Hope this short presentation on the usage of these pronouns would help you students to remove all your doubts regarding the usage of these. Thank you for tuning into Tube Lessons. Hope to meet you soon. For testing your understanding of this lesson and more videos, log on to www.tubelessons.net.